Hey, how you doing? Adam here. Date is 7/2/2019. Actually, for the first time, I think it looks a little bit loud on the waveform, but I'm just going to keep it as it is because I don't think it's that big. Oh, you know why? Because I do have it a little bit louder. Yeah, so I was just down here trying to record a little bit on the album. My idea was, like, I keep thinking that, and I don't know why I keep thinking this. Like, it's one of those things that it's like it becomes this obsessive compulsive thing. And I don't know how many other people that make albums do this, but I keep hearing like something about the recording just stands out to me as like, oh God, what is that? It sounds so bad. It sounds so airy and like there's so much room sound. But the thing is, though, and this seems a little contradictory to me, is that my instinct is to just, like, I want more room sound, you know? Like, I want it to sound like it's, like, I keep thinking of this clip of, I forget, it's Luciano Pavarotti. He's, like, singing in front of an orchestra, and he has a few microphones in front of him, like a couple condenser mics. Like, I think it's just two condenser mics in front of, like, an entire, orchestra and just him singing, and it's just like these two microphones are picking up this thing that's happening right in front of them. And like I wish there were a way for me to, well, not only make music that sounded like that, like just this, like the softness of a classical recording, like the binaural softness of a classical recording. Not only do I want to make a song like that to sound like that, but it's just hard to write music like that given the instruments that I have, because you know I have drums and like a keyboard, and I have rock instruments, and it's hard to make music that sounds soft in that. And I mean, you know, classical music isn't soft necessarily, but it's not as like it's hard to make music that sounds like that when you only have rock instruments. But you know, the thing, I don't want to disregard the rock instruments because that's what I know how to play, you know, and somewhere intuitively I feel like I shouldn't abandon that. So it's just like, how do I make rock instruments sound not so abrasive? And so I was thinking just more distance from the microphone. But it's just like you need like 500 things going on at once, and one or two microphones just picking up the whole thing for it to not sound like an amateur recording. Because, you know, it's like I think to myself, like, okay, I get more distance on the mics, but you know, I know what I'm doing here. I know that I'm just, you know, I'm trying to get it to sound more like what I hear in my head, but is somebody else going to know that? Or are they going to misinterpret it as being amateur? Which, you know, I'm not claiming that I'm not an amateur recording, but, you know, it's not like I just started last week, is what I'm saying, I think. And so it's a lot to think about. And, you know, I have a lot of the first song recorded already, but it's just like I keep hearing in my head like, no, it's not right. It's not distant enough. It's not like, it's not as, it's, you know, because sometimes you record like so close, like vocals a lot of the times are just, and not only just my vocals, but just like everybody, modern vocal sounds are just right up on the mic, you know, so there's no like interference with the room, you know, it's just like right there in front of your mouth. But if you record it back here, you know, there's sort of a different flavor there. But it's just everything I record, no matter what I do, seemingly, it's all abrasive sounding. And it's just, since like, I would say like ever since I got done the last album, like I can't, it's like I'm broken. It's like the machinery in my head for music is like seemingly broken. So it's like I feel like I'm having to rebuild everything, and it's a strenuous process. Like I haven't recorded anything in like probably 3 weeks, because I was just so burnt. It's like I come down here and I have nothing. Like I'm just burnt out, But we'll see. Today I'm kind of like that. Like I had nothing. I tried to record the drums a little more distantly, but it didn't really sound great. It sounded like an amateur recording, and I don't want it to sound like that. So I think the key again is just to have like 5 or 6 different things going on at once as you're recording them. And then it's a little bit less like amateur sounding. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing just as a recording thing. And I think another thing I got to do is I've got to just because I have most of the, well, I don't want to say most of the music, but I have the main ideas for the songs already like in demo form, but I want to get the, because I always hear like demos of people's songs and it's just like it's full chords and full lyrics and stuff, but my demos are always just like a brief sort of like music idea, like the main idea of something. And I want to actually, because I remember I did this with the last album. I didn't actually like a lot of the writing came in recording the final versions of the songs, especially like the lyrics. Came like I think actually the lyrics they were like something that I was writing over the course of a year, I think, and I kept going like rewriting them because I was like, this ain't good enough. But I don't know. I have a file with some lyrics, but we'll see. I've been talking about this for too long. I did actually have a couple journal topics that I wanted to get to. Yeah, and see, I write these down like in the moment, like as I'm thinking of them. And so I was thinking like, how sometimes like if somebody gets mad, like if they get angry at you and they start saying like, yeah, if you get on my bad side, this is how I am. This is about, and this is how I am. This is what you get from me when you get on my bad side. Like, it's like I'm never an asshole, but if you get on my bad side, this is how I am. Like, they're always just like making that up in the moment, like I don't think that's like some fact that they like know most of the time about themselves. It's like they're just discovering it in the moment. Like, yeah, this is how I am, isn't it? Like this is some new discovery about myself that and this is how I am. If you treat me like this is how I get. But, more often than not, it's just something that they're making up in the moment to like save face because they're being an asshole. Yeah, and so that was that thought. I don't know. I was thinking of that like sometimes when people do that. Yeah, and then there's this other thing I was thinking like the greatest bullies, like the thing that they do is they take something that is slightly true about you, like I don't know, like some minor flaw that maybe the person could be told that this is yeah maybe you are kind of lazy, that sort of thing, but it's not really that big of a deal. But the bully blows it up into like some irredeemably like bad quality about the person, and then and they're saying it specifically so like it makes them feel at fault. Like the bully's goal there is to make the person feel at fault for being who they are, or something like that. I'm not verbalizing what I mean correctly. It's like they'll take some minor thing about you and then make you apologize for it. And that's like the number one tactic of a bully is to like take some minor thing about what maybe something you said, like something you said in passing or something you said in the past. Like how they go to Twitter and find your old tweets or whatever, and you said something like innocent. But that's a big tactic of a bully is to take one little 1% problem and blow it up into a 99. Well, I had this phrase in my head. I think this is the first time I'm saying it, is 1% truth, 99% bullying. That's what I always had that phrase in my head, because that's sort of what's going on there. Yeah, it's like I said, whenever I'm writing down these journal topics, I'm always having arguments with people in my head. So if it comes off as like defensive, that's why. And then there was this last thing I wrote down. Is that I think people should actually have sympathy for trolls. Because, it's just, they're like, they're such horrible people. Like, they're just, but I think behind all that fucking like asshole behavior is like someone that's probably in a lot of emotional pain. And like when you have like just straight up vitriol towards them, you're probably just making their life 1,000 times worse. And, a lot of advice that people give, like, oh, well, maybe you should just go out and do something. Like, a lot of the quote advice that people give to you, like, it's just a form of fucking vitriol. And it's like Joe Rogan was saying in one of his podcasts, like, I think we got to stop fucking slam dunking on each other, or trying to slam dunk on each other, because it's really made everybody into a fucking rotten person. And I'm kind of tired of it, to be honest. Just nonstop fucking trying to slam dunk on people. Yeah, so that's this journal, and goodbye.